Good day, future RNs. Today we are going to discuss your autoimmune nervous disorders. So we have here your myasthenia gravis or gravis. We also have here your Guillain-Barré syndrome and of course your multiple sclerosis. But first, we're going to discuss muna yung ating tinatawag na myasthenia gravis. So pag sinabi nating myasthenia gravis, that is just a condition wherein nagkakaroon po ng severe muscle weakness. Okay, if we are going to dissect the terminology na myasthenia gravis, pag sinabi nating my, we are pertaining to your what? We are pertaining to your muscles. And pag sinabi naman nating asthenia class, pag sinabi nating asthenia, we are pertaining to weakness. Okay, and then pag sinabi naman nating gravis, ibig sabihin ng gravis nurses is that ito ay tinatawag natin siyang severe or deadly. That is why, pag sinabi natin myasthenia gravis, okay, yan ang tinatawag natin na severe or your deadly muscle weakness. Okay, so every time na nag-discuss tayo ng mga neurologic disorders class, no, it's either ang naapektuhan is your sensory and your motor aspects. But with the case of your myasthenia gravis, ang involved dito class is your motor aspect. Okay, nagkakaroon pa ng involvement of your motor aspect natin. So, ano ba yung mga predisposing factors, no, that could actually lead to your myasthenia gravis? Number one, we have here your autoimmune. Although usually, no, lahat, okay, most of our neurologic disorders talaga class, it is because, it is due to your autoimmune response of your own body. Di ba, normally, your immune system works for us. But pag sinabi natin immune system, your immune system works against us. Okay? So, ang pinaka-culprit dito, kasi ang pinaka-problem kung bakit tayo nagkakaroon ng myasthenia gravis is because of the production of your antibodies by your thymus gland. Nagkakaroon po ng abnormal, okay, antibodies production. Okay? So, una muna, di ba, ano bang ginagawa ng ating thymus gland in our body? You have to remember this one, nurses, that your thymus gland, okay, it is used for the cellular level of immunity. Okay, tumutulong po siya with our immune system. That is the function, no, of our thymus gland na tinatawag natin. Okay, normally, no, di ba meron tayong mga lymphocytes, where in these lymphocytes, they fight against microorganisms or pathogens that enter our body. So we have here your lymphocytes, meron tayong dalawa. We have your B lymphocytes, and we also have your T lymphocytes natin. So, pag maalala natin, dun sa ating anatomy and physiology, your B lymphocytes is being produced by your what? It is being produced by your bone marrow natin. Specifically, what part of our bone marrow? At the lining of our bone marrow, or yung kinatawag natin na bursae. Okay, dun sila na-produce, dun po sila mature. And aside from that one, okay, ano ba yung kinakalaban or pinapatay ng ating mga B lymphocytes? Kaya nga siya B lymphocytes, ang pinapatay mo nila ay yung mga bacteria. Okay, next naman tayo here. On the other hand, we have here your lymphocytes natin. Okay, we have your T lymphocytes, I should say. So, your T lymphocytes, saan po sila located or saan po sila na-produce or saan po sila nagmamature? It is in your thymus gland natin. Kaya nga sabi natin kanina, your thymus gland, kinagagamit po natin siya for the cellular level of our immunity in our body. Ano naman po yung mga target pathogens or microorganisms ng ating mga T lymphocytes? Of course, kaya nga siya letter T again. Tatlong T, tatlong B. It's because tatlo po ang pathogens na kaya niyang patayin. Ano yung mga yon? Okay, that include your number one, we have your virus. Next, we have your fungi. And of course, we also have your tinatawag natin na protozoa. Okay, so yan pa yung mga napapatay ng ating mga T lymphocytes. Okay, sabi natin kanina, okay, ano bang nangyayari talaga, sir, with our, with our myasthenia gravis? Sabi natin, ang problem natin is the abnormal production, no, of your antibodies being produced by your thymus gland. So, we have an illustration here. Sa ito class, makikita natin that we have two neurons in here. We have your neuron A And of course, we have your neuron B na tinatawag natin. So, yung neuron A natin, that is your presynaptic neuron. And yung nasa baba naman, that is your postsynaptic neuron wherein, of course, sabi natin myasthenia gravis, we are pertaining to your muscles. Meron tayong meron tayong neuron in your muscles in here. Okay, so para magkaroon, di ba, alam niyo naman na siguro itong process na to, no? Yung ating mga action potential or yung mga impulses natin, okay, para po makapag-transmit po tayo ng impulses or electricity from that neuron A to neuron B, kailangan po nila ng what? Kailangan po nila ng tinatawag natin na neurotransmitter natin. Ano yung neurotransmitter na involved? In the case of your myasthenia gravis, we have your acetylcholine. Okay, we have your acetylcholine. Para saan si acetylcholine? This neurotransmitter is described as what? It is an excitatory neurotransmitter. Pasensya na yung sulat ni Sir Ed. It's an excitatory example of your neurotransmitter. And ano bang ginagawa ng ating acetylcholine? Tumutulong siya for your what? It produces your muscle contraction. Okay, it produces your muscle contraction at resting state of our body. Okay, and of course, pagdating sa ating acetylcholine, ano yung mga receptors niya? Meron silang mga cholinergic receptors. Or tinatawag natin sila itong mga acetylcholine na to, they are considered as cholinergic neurotransmitter. Okay, sabi natin class, no? Sabi natin, okay, yung ating neuron A, okay, para makapag-transmit tayo ng action potential or your impulse or electricity para sa ating neuron B, kailangan po nila ng ating tinatawag na acetylcholine. Sir, acetylcholine dito, ito po yung mga circles siya. No? Okay, una muna, they are being enclosed, okay, they're being housed by your seminal vesicles na tinatawag natin or synaptic vesicles na tinatawag natin. Wherein, sa mga synaptic vesicles na to, dyan muna magstay yung ating mga neurotransmitter like for example, your acetylcholine. Wherein, ang mangyayari dyan, ano bang ginagawa ng ating mga synaptic vesicle? They protects, okay, your neurotransmitter from being disrupted by other enzymes. Kaya pag nagkaroon ng electricity, okay, nagkaroon ng action potential, okay, it-triggers your synaptic vesicle para ilabas yung ating mga neurotransmitter at yung space between your neuron A and neuron B, yan yung tinatawag natin niya, neuromuscular junction natin. So, ang nangyayari dito, class, okay, so pag na-release na po natin yung ating acetylcholine here at the junction of your neuron and your muscle, meron po tayong your muscle, meron po tayong mga receptors in here. Wherein yung mga receptors na yan, located at the lining, no, of your muscle fiber natin, okay, dyan po, magkoconnect, okay, dyan po, mapupunta yung ating mga acetylcholine natin. Ngayon, sabi natin yung thymus gland natin, okay, di ba usually, thymus gland class, pag nakadetect yan, for example, with your virus, okay, pag nakadetect po class, pag nakadetect po yung ating katawan ng virus, sino muna yung tinatawag natin, spatter, okay, ng ating thymus gland. Meron pa tayong spatter na tinatawag na organ. Tinatawag po natin siyang spleen. That is your spleen. Ngayon, ang gagawin po ng ating spleen, for example, may nakita siyang virus, okay, nakita niya ni spleen, it will going to inform your thymus gland para mag-release ng mga T lymphocytes. Okay, and then after that one, yung mga T lymphocytes are going to attack your virus. And that ends the process para masira po yung mga microorganisms that are very harmful, okay, in our body, that enter our body. But then, sabi natin, nagkaroon ka ng autoimmune problem. Okay, sa thymus gland, okay, yes, okay, naging spatter natin si spleen, nakita ni spleen na merong pumasok na virus sa katawan mo. In-inform niya si thymus gland, and then si thymus gland, it will going to release your T lymphocytes or yung mga antibodies natin para atakihin yung mga tinatawag natin ng mga viruses or any other pathogens natin. Ngayon, ang nangyayari, since autoimmune tong sakit na to, si thymus gland natin, tuloy-tuloy pa ang pag-produce ng ating antibodies. Wherein, ang nangyayari, class, yung antibodies na yan, na pinoproduce ng ating mga thymus gland, it will going to attack your what? It will going to attack your, tinatawag natin na, acetylcholine, and of course, also the receptors. Okay, kaya nga pagdating sa ating pathophysiologic basis, nagkakaroon pa ng, sulat natin dito, nagkakaroon pa ng destruction, ang pangit talaga ng sulat ni Sir, pagpasensyahan po natin, of your acetylcholine and also your receptors natin. Okay, ganun po yung nangyayari sa sakit natin na myasthenia gravis. Ngayon, for example, madaming antibodies. Yung mga antibodies natin dito, class, is itong mga Y na kulay green. These are your antibodies. Mapapansin natin, class, that they block or they occlude or they obstruct your receptors kung saan kakapit sana yung mga neurotransmitter natin. Ngayon, sabi natin ang ating acetylcholine, they are excitatory neurotransmitter wherein they are going to transmit your impulse from neuron A papunta sa ating neuron B, which is your muscle cells natin. Ang nangyayari ngayon, class, since na-occlude, nabarahan yung ating mga receptors that will actually receive your acetylcholine, meron pa bang enough na matatransmit na impulse or electricity? Kulang na. That's why nagkakaroon ng reduce in your muscle contraction that will eventually lead to your severe muscle weakness. Ganun po yung nangyayari or yung pathophysiologic basis natin pagdating sa ating myasthenia gravis. Okay? On the other hand, class, okay, yung ating acetylcholine, of course, sabi natin that is an excitatory. Of course, meron tong antagonist. Anong tinatawag natin na antagonist ng ating acetylcholine? That's why it's very important for you to know this one kasi you will realize later on as we go with our discussion, yung mga medications natin that can actually manage or treatment pa ng ating myasthenia gravis. So, on the other hand, pag sinabi nating acetylcholine inhibitors, anong tawag natin sa kanila? Or antagonist, I should say, tinatawag natin siyang what? Tinatawag natin siyang cholinesterase. Okay, tinatawag natin siyang cholinesterase, wherein they are antagonists of your acetylcholine. So ngayon, kung ang ating acetylcholine, an excitatory neurotransmitter, kailangan for muscle contraction, of course, ano din ang gagawin natin para magkaroon din ng muscle relaxation? It is through your what? It is through your acetylcholine. It is through your cholinesterase na tinatawag natin. So yung cholinesterase natin, it will going to break down yung mga nagamit natin na acetylcholine. Pag nagkaroon pa ng breakdown or nasira yung ating mga acetylcholine, nagkakaroon pa ng stimulation of what part of your brain? Your substantia nigra. Okay, na-stimulate pang ating substantia nigra wherein your substantia nigra will going to what? Will going to release your neurotransmitter na tinatawag natin na dopamine. And then your dopamine will liberate your what? Will liberate the production of your GABA or your gamma-aminobutyric acid. Ano bang ginagawa ng GABA natin? It is for full muscular relaxation. Okay, so yan po yung tinatawag natin na cholinesterase or acetylcholine antagonist. Okay, so let's proceed now with your assessment natin. Okay, pagdating sa assessment natin, class, what will be the earliest symptoms na pwedeng mag-manifest? Symptom na pwedeng mag-manifest kay client na merong myasthenia gravis. Makikita natin dito sa illustration, nagkaroon siya ng tinatawag na drooping of your eyelids or yung tinatawag natin na medical term na ptosis. Dahil sobrang weak, okay, nagkaroon siya ng sobrang weak ng kanyang mga muscles, hindi niya po nakakayang i-open ang kanyang eyes. Kaya siya nagkakaroon ng drooping of the eyelids or yung tinatawag natin na ptosis. And of course, what will be our hallmark sign? Pag sinabi nating myasthenia gravis, okay, nagkakaroon tayo ng tinatawag na muscle weakness. Okay, nagkakaroon po tayo ng muscle weakness. Wherein, ang characteristic pa ng muscle weakness sa mga patient na merong MG is what? Strong in the morning, weak on the afternoon. Okay, ganun po yung characteristics ng muscle weakness ng patients na merong myasthenia gravis. So, pagdating sa ating diagnostics, how could we determine if your patient already had, or how could we confirm if your patient already had your MG? Okay, so of course, we have your diagnostics. Meron tayong tinatawag na CT scan and your MRI natin. Wherein, sa result, okay, ng ating CT scan and your MRI, nagkakaroon po ng myoma. Okay, or nagkakaroon po ng tumor at your thymus gland that will lead to the abnormal production of your antibodies natin. Okay, pagdating naman sa blood test natin, it will reveal what? It will reveal presence of your antibodies natin. And aside from that one, ang ating confirmatory diagnosis natin or confirmatory test natin, meron tayong tinatawag na Tensilon test. Okay, para saan si Tensilon test? Ano yung other term natin for your Tensilon test? Tinatawag po natin siyang endophrine test or your endophrine chloride test natin. Wherein, pag sinabi natin Tensilon test, this is the confirmatory test for patients who have your myasthenia gravis. Okay, this penicillin test, they are considered as what? Form of your anti-cholinesterase. Diba? Yun na yung mismong relevance kung bakit diniscuss din natin kanina yung ating cholinesterase as the antagonist of your acetylcholine. Okay, so pagdating dito, class, kailan po best na binibigay? Okay, kailan best na binibigay ang ating acetylcholine, ang ating penicillin test? It is best given at PM. Okay, or gabi. Bakit gabi natin binibigay or hapon natin binibigay yung ating penicillin? It's because sabi natin ano ba ang hallmark sign, okay, ng ating MG? We have your muscle weakness wherein ang characteristics nito ay strong in the morning, weak in the afternoon or PM. That's why it is best given sa hapon. Okay, dito tayo sa ating cholinergic versus anticholinergics natin. Okay, pag sinabi natin cholinergics yan, anong nangyayari sa ating secretions? Of course, pag cholinergic, nagkakaroon ng increase in their secretion. Pag sinabi naman natin anticholinergic, decrease ang ating secretion. Pag sinabi naman natin urine, class, okay, pag cholinergic yan, increase ulit ang ating urine formation. Pag anticholinergic, decrease ang ating urine formation. Pagdating sa ating peristalsis, class, of course, pag sinabi natin cholinergic yan, increase. Pag anticholinergic, decrease. Pagdating sa ating pupil, pag sinabi natin cholinergic, it is nagkakaroon ng constriction. Pag sinabi naman natin anticholinergic, nagkakaroon ng dilation. And of course, pagdating sa ating heart rate, pag sinabi natin cholinergic yan, class, nagkakaroon ng decrease on your heart rate. And pag anticholinergic naman po yan, nag-i-increase ang ating heart rate. Okay, so pagdating sa ating penicillin test, class, what is the route, okay, ng ating pagbibigay ng ating penicillin test? We have actually two. We have your tinatawag natin na intravenous route, and of course, you also have your intramuscular route natin. Sa ating intravenous route of administration of your penicillin, this is considered as what? This is considered as your ideal route sa pagbibigay ng ating penicillin test. And aside from that one, okay, ang onset po, okay, ng ating intravenous penicillin test natin or penicillin or endophrine chloride natin, ang kanyang onset, agad-agad ba siyang nagtitake effect? Yes. Kaya ang kanyang onset ay start or immediately once you administer this one, okay, nakikita natin agad-agad yung kanyang effect. Pagdating sa duration, okay, the half-life of your tinatawag natin na penicillin natin, pag intravenous route ang administration natin, ang kanyang half-life ay what? Only one. It only lasts for 1 to 3 minutes. So, very mabilis lang pumawala yung bisa ng ating gamot. Okay? Next naman tayo here with your intramuscular natin. Ang onset, class, ng ating intramuscular, okay, route of administration ng ating penicillin is what? 3 to 5 minutes. And of course, pagdating sa kanyang duration, okay, pagdating sa kanyang half-life, same with your intravenous route of administration ng ating penicillin, it is also 1 to 3 minutes. Okay, that's why your penicillin test, hindi po siya ginagamit na treatment. Okay, it's not an ideal one for the treatment of your myasthenia gravis because it's very impractical. Kasi pag titignan pa lang natin, class, it's very impractical. Bakit, sir? Bakit siya impractical? It's because pag titignan mo, pagdating sa kanyang duration, very short lang po ang kanyang half-life. That's why mabilis lang po siya mawalan ng bisa. Okay, meron lang siyang short half-life. Okay, let's proceed now with the effects of your penicillin. Okay? Pag si patient, nagbigay ka ng penicillin test or nagbigay ka ng penicillin sa kanya and nag-increase ang kanyang muscle strength. Okay, we could already conclude that your patient have what? Meron siyang positive for myasthenia gravis. Okay, positive siya for myasthenia gravis. For example, nangihina siya and then nagbigay ka ng penicillin. Anong nangyari kay client, I should say, nagkakaroon siya, nakakapag-regain siya ng muscle strength and that, therefore, will confirm that your patient is positive for myasthenia gravis. Okay? And of course, if you're a good nurse, automatically, since yung gamot na rin penicillin, it is considered as what? Anticholinesterase. Okay? That's why you're going to what? You're going to give your drug of choice natin. What are the drug of choice natin, class? We have here your neostigmine. Okay? We also have here your pyridostigmine natin. Wherein these two medications, they are considered as what? They are considered as, yun ang sabi ko kanina, they are considered as anti-cholinesterase or cholinesterase inhibitors. They are under that classification as anti-cholinesterase or cholinesterase inhibitors. Sabi natin kanina, your cholinesterase are considered as acetylcholine antagonist, and sinisira nila yung ating mga acetylcholine, wherein kulang po tayo ng acetylcholine pagdating sa ating patient na merong myasthenia gravis. So this nestigmine, okay, ang kanyang, okay, bago siya mag-take effect, it takes at least 8 to 10 hours. Okay, pag sinabi naman pyridostigmine yan, at least 10 to 12 hours. Okay, and we consider them as what? Consider them as anti-cholinesterase or cholinesterase inhibitors. Okay, ngayon, ano bang pinakaano natin dito? Okay, nakalagay natin dito pagdating sa ating nursing managed intervention class. Okay, implications natin that this type of medication, they should be taken before what? They should be taken before meals or at least 30 minutes ante sebum. Okay, bakit 30 minutes bago ka kumain? Bakit doon ka lang magbibigay ng pagbibigay ng ating tawag natin na tensilan natin. Okay, I'm so sorry, your nestigmine and your pyridostigmine. It's because in the first place class, since meron kang myasthenia gravis, meron kang severe muscle weakness, okay, what will happen to your tongue? Okay, since your tongue is considered as a muscle, your tongue as well as your esophagus class, pag meron kang severe weakness, muscle weakness, they are very weak. And kapag weak ang ating muscles and our I'm so sorry. Pag weak ang ating tongue together with your esophagus, do they have that risk or higher chance na magkaroon sila ng aspiration? Yes, that's why it's very important na bago kumain si patient natin, kailangan natin palakasin yung kanyang muscles by giving your what? By giving your neostigmine or your pyridostigmine natin. I do hope nag-gets nyo siya, class. Okay, nurses. Okay, next naman tayo here. Pag ang effect po ng ating tensilon is that nagkaroon siya ng decrease, okay, muscle strength. Okay, that already indicates what? Positive siya for cholinergic crisis. Pag sinabi natin increase, on the other hand, nagkakaroon siya ng myasthenic crisis. Pag dito sa kabila naman, pag nag-decrease ang muscle strength upon giving your or administration of your tensilon, nagkaroon siya ng decreased muscle strength. That already indicates what? Cholinergic crisis. Okay? Sobra-sobra na ang kanyang what? Sobra-sobra na ang kanyang acetylcholine natin. Okay, so what is the antidote for patients okay na nagkakaroon ng cholinergic crisis? We can give your what? We can give your antidote na atropine sulfate, because your atropine sulfate is considered as what? Anti-cholinergic. So what is the ideal route for your atropine sulfate? They are best given intravenously. Okay? So pag naman ngayon, okay, walang effect yung ating tinatawag na tensilon upon giving it to your patient. Wala siyang effect. Therefore, that concludes that your patient have what? Wala siyang myasthenic crisis, wala siyang cholinergic crisis. Tinatawag natin siyang what? Tinatawag natin siyang brittle crisis. Okay, tinatawag natin siyang brittle crisis kapag wala na pong effect yung ating tinatawag na tensilon kay patient. Okay, so what will be our medications okay, that needs to be prepared kapag wala pong effect or hindi tumalab yung ating tinatawag na tensilon kay patient? Okay, we have to prepare your tinatawag natin na steroids. Because your steroids will serve as what? Since yung ating myasthenia gravis, okay, tinatawag natin siyang autoimmune neurologic disorder, we have to give your steroids for what? To suppress your immune system. Kaya yung ating steroids, it serve as a immunosuppressants. Okay? Immunosuppressants. And aside from that one class, ibig sabihin nito, kapag hindi na pa nag-take effect yung mga medications natin or yung ating tensilon kanina, Okay? That's the time that your patient will undergo your plasmapheresis na tinatawag natin. Pag sinabi natin plasmapheresis yan, that is the separation of your plasma or yung para tanggalin natin lahat ng mga antibodies in your blood through your venous catheter na tinatawag natin. Wherein, tatanggalan natin lahat ng ng dugo natin and separate natin lahat ng mga plasma together with your antibodies natin. And then the last resort for patients, okay, we have your myasthenia gravis is your tinatawag natin na thymectomy. Okay, we have your thymectomy. Para saan naman po sa thymectomy natin, class? Anong ibig sabihin ng thymectomy? That is just the surgical, okay, this is the surgical removal of your thymus gland natin. But then since this one, yung location kasi ng thymus gland natin is not, hindi siya ganun kaganda. Okay, yung kanyang anatomical location. That's why, ang alternative natin for your thymectomy, okay, pag nahihirapan tayong tanggalin yung kanyang thymus gland, we also have, ano ba yung organs natin kanina, na we considered it as a spatter, okay, that works with your thymus gland. Tinatawag natin siyang spleen. That's why, ang kailangan natin tanggalin is your what? Spleen. To your surgical procedure, tinatawag natin na splenectomy. Okay, and of course, pagdating sa ating post-op care for patients who undergo your thymectomy because of its anatomical location, no, beneath, okay, behind your sternum, pwede si patient magkaroon ng respiratory problems. So, as part of your post-operative care, we have to assess for what? You have to assess any respiratory distress or problems. Like in the case of your patient, okay, na pwede siyang mag-develop niyang pneumonia, and the worst thing is that will lead to possible lung collapse or yung tinatawag natin na atelectasis natin. Okay? So, pagdating naman po sa ating management, we have here your mnemonics na ABAP, okay? ABAP. Okay, first, ang ating priority here for patients to have your myasthenia gravis, since nagkaroon ka ng severe muscle weakness, is your what? It's your airway. Okay, ang priority natin here is your airway natin. So, pagdating sa managing the airway of your patients who have your myasthenia gravis, of course, we have to prepare your equipment. Ano yung mga equipment na yun, class? Number one, we have your suction apparatus, okay, your oxygen, and of course, we have to position our client in the sideline position. And pagdating sa kanyang diet, dapat ay thick and liquid diet. And of course, you also need your pulse oximeter natin. Okay, so let's proceed with your suction apparatus. Bakit kailangan natin ng suction apparatus? Since airway, nagkakaroon ng possible airway problems si client natin. Okay, that's the time that we have to prepare your suction apparatus. Bakit? To remove lahat ng secretions kay patient. Okay? So, recap lang tayo ha. If you could remember the concept of your fundamentals of nursing. What is the ideal time, okay, to suction your patient? Or gaano yung mismong length of time? Okay, kung gaano tayo kahaba na mag-suction. Yung time natin, it should be what? It should be at least 10 seconds. That's the ideal. Diba? That's the ideal yung 10 seconds natin. So, masasabi natin, since 10 seconds in between your, normally pag nasa book yan, at least 5 to 15 seconds lang dapat tayo mag-suction. Okay? And of course, we have here your, tinatawag natin na insertion of your catheter natin pagdating sa pag-suction natin. If you're going to insert the catheter, ano dapat yung kanyang motion? Okay, dapat alam nyo to, nurses. Okay, ang motion natin ay it should be linear motion. Okay, pag mag-insert tayo ng tinatawag natin na catheter during your suctioning. Okay, but how about with the how about with the pressure? Are we going to occlude or not? No, dapat ay naka-release po yung pressure natin if we're going to insert your suction, your catheter natin. And kapag mag-withdraw naman po tayo, class, ng ating catheter, ano ang ating motion? It should be what? Circular motion dapat. And of course, nagkakaroon tayo ng what? Kung sa ating insertion kanina, linear, okay, release the pressure, dapat hindi tayo nag-occlude. Pagdating naman sa withdrawal, okay, we have a circular motion and then dapat ay what? Intermittent pressure dapat yan. Intermittent na hindi tuloy-tuloy na pressure. Bakit pag tuloy-tuloy ang pressure na in-apply natin, pwede siya magkaroon ng damage the mucosa lining natin or yung mga mucosa natin in our airway. Okay? Next naman tayo here, of course, bago tayo mag-suction, di ba? It's part of your protocol na bago tayo mag-suction is what? We have to hyperoxygenate your patient at least 100 dapat yan. Okay? So, kailan dapat tayo mag-hyperoxygenate? It should be before and after. You have to hyperoxygenate our patient natin. And then next, bakit kailangang naka-side-lying position yung client natin? It's because since yung client natin, they have a very weak muscles, weak ang kanilang tongue, weak ang kanilang esophagus, are they prone to develop your aspiration? Yes, that is why you have to position your client in side-lying position to prevent aspiration. And of course, bakit thickened liquid diet yung natin class? Bakit thickened liquid diet yung kanyang diet? Since very weak ang kanyang muscle sa kanyang tongue and their esophagus. Okay? Of course, hindi nila agad-agad yan na mahirapan silang ipaloob. That is why thickened liquid, therefore, bawal ang matigas na pagkain kasi hindi nila mangunguya kasi nga mahina ang kanilang tongue. And of course, bawal ang masyadong liquid or matubig. Kaya nga thickened liquid diet ang ating diet kay patient na merong MG. It's because to prevent your aspiration as well. And of course, we have here your pulse oximeter. Anong gamit ng pulse oximeter natin, class? It is just to check the effectivity of your management. Okay, to assess for the effectivity of your management for your patients, we have your myasthenia gravis. Next naman here, we have your letter B, breathing. Okay, yung next na priority natin, we have your breathing. Through the use of your what? Mechanical ventilator. Because your mechanical ventilator, okay, bakit kailangan ng MECVEN? It's because pag nagkaroon ka ng severe muscle weakness and nagkaroon ng muscle weakness in your diaphragm, that helps with your respiration. Of course, mawawalan ka ng or mahirapan kang huminga. That's why we need the help of your MECVEN. Because your MECVEN is the only equipment that could move your diaphragm natin. Again, of course, we also have here that will aid with your breathing. Next naman here, letter A, we have your activities of daily living. Ang kailangan lang natin dito, class, since nagkakaroon siya ng muscle weakness, we have to assist them with their ADL. Okay? And of course, last, for your pharmacologic treatment, okay, sabi natin kanina, pag si patient nagkaroon ng MG, okay, what will be our pharmacologic treatment? We are going to administer your what? Anticholinesterase or your tinatawag natin na cholinesterase inhibitor. Sir, since kulang kanyang acetylcholine, bakit hindi na lang tayo magbigay ng acetylcholine? No, kasi pag masyadong madaming acetylcholine, anong nangyayari kay patient? Nagkakaroon siya ng cholinergic crisis. That's why ang gamot natin for your MG, we have here your neostigmine and your pyridostigmine under your what? Under your tinatawag na cholinesterase inhibitors natin. Okay, so sabi natin kanina, when is the best time to give your tinatawag natin na mga anticholinesterase natin? They are best given PM or gabi. Bakit? Doon pa nanghihina yung mga clients natin. Okay, so that ends our discussion for your myasthenia gravis.